Well, hello everyone. So I want to talk about basically how to rebuild after a tragedy, or and I don't want to use the word tragedy in every sense, but basically how to rebuild your life, or how to do a do-over basically, and this is for people who maybe is in a point in their life that they're not necessarily happy with, and kind of want to start over, or those who just want to kind of have a thought process of how to start over, or how to maybe do something a little different. So, and I want to start off, before I get into it, I made some little notes here. But I talked to three small business owners. I mean, they run successful businesses, but they're not major corporations. And two of them asked at one time, and another one asked at another time. And all three of them, the two that was together, almost in unison, said that if they were to lose their business, their home, their cars, if they lost everything, all three of them said they would just end it, like, completely, and that actually scared me more than anything else. And whenever I was talking to people, because the fact that their mind instantly goes to that, I'm like, I couldn't. I mean, I've lost a lot. My mom's lost a lot. Just about everyone that I know at some point has lost everything. That's why we're better today, is because we've experienced failure and we've perfected ourselves from it. So, but anyways, they were absolutely no help as far as, a way to bring yourself back up, because they didn't even want to entertain the thought process of it. And then there was a couple of, guys up at the convenience store just hanging around. And I says, hey, I was like, I don't know how much you have to lose, but if you was to lose everything and just kind of doing the do-over and wanted to start over, I was like, how would you get back on your feet and they instantly went to, drugs and hustling, or one person said, well, if I was really, really down, I'd just rob somebody. And I'm sitting there thinking that, here at the, I'm not going to say pinnacle, but here you have successful business owners that owns houses, have families, have kids. They want to end it as soon as something bad happens. And then you have the bottom part that's like, hey, let's break laws and do things illegal. And that, I mean, honestly, I'm realizing I'm a very special person, because at neither time did my brain go to either one of them two. So I came up with some really good ideas to kind of, let's say hypothetically, your house caught fire, or, you lose your job, or you have something happen. Let's say you just got out of jail, and regardless of what the situation, let's say you're in a position to where you have to start over. Most people would go and just get a little bullshit job, and that is a way to do it. But that's going to get you only so far. And let's say hypothetically you get out of jail and now you're a convicted felon, your job is going to be very limited. So I want to kind of show a couple things here, just to hopefully inspire or show people a different way of doing things. So without further ado, let's kind of go through this list here. It may be a little chaotic. You may have to watch a video, kind of catch up a couple things, because I'm going to be going over things fairly quickly. So first and foremost, the number one thing you need to get when starting over, in my personal opinion, would be a van. Okay, a van, big SUV, at very least a truck with a topper, because if you own a van, you never have to worry about rent or ever have to look for a place to live. Okay, so that would be the number one goal to starting over, is one, get you a home base. If you have to stay in an apartment, if you have to rent a house, if you have to do anything, you're going to be paying a lot more money, which is going to slow your progress. So for me personally, number one goal, get a van. That way you can, do any business you want. You can live in it. You can move around. You can do a bunch of different things with a van. So, but let's say you don't have the van yet. So you need to get some jobs where you don't have a vehicle. hopefully you can scrounge up enough money to at least get a bicycle. So, and this is kind of contingent on a lot of different variables, but assuming that you're in an apartment complex or in an area, maybe you're crashing with some friends or something like that, some quick jobs you can do is go around, knock on the neighbors' doors. You could do yard cleanup, okay? You can detail cars, wash cars in their driveway. Most people, if you explain them the situation, say, hey, you know, my house caught fire, or I'm staying with some friends, or whatever. You know, these are some quick ways to just make cash. Painting someone's house. No one likes to paint, and it's the easiest damn thing to do in the world. You can go to Dollar Tree and buy every single material you need other than the paint, you know, for like $5-10. You can buy a paint roller, you can buy the brushes, you can buy the little tray, you know, and a scraper for less than $10, and start painting people's houses and charge $100 a day, you know, and go out and actually do a good job. And I want to preference one other little thing here before we go too far into this list. If for some reason that you're a shitty person, or you're on drugs or alcoholic, you need to fix them demons first before you fix the rest of your life. So, you know, if you're a druggie, if you're a lifetime criminal, this doesn't apply to you. This is for people who honestly wanted to start over, or is forced to start over, and want to do the right thing. Okay, that being said, if you're not in the city, you can go to almost any farm and get work. All you got to do is go knock on a door, you know, and just say, hey, listen, I want to work. Pay me whatever you think is fair, you know, and you have the option of staying or leaving or do whatever, but you can go and get basically a job on any farm, any contractor. If you see somebody working on a house or building any type of new construction, you can get a job almost guaranteed cash, you know, cleaning up the job site, picking up the scrap pieces of wood, helping carrying stuff. I've done it myself. You can literally, you know, ride your bike to a construction site and get paid that same day, as long as you want to work, you know. And these are all things that you can do without a car. You can find, you know, places nearby. Some other places to get jobs without a car is local small businesses. Whenever I say, like, you know, these mom and pop shops, small restaurants, small little shops, it's a little harder to get a job there, especially if you just got out of jail or something like that. But if you go and explain your story and you know, basically say, I'm here to do something, they'll usually hire you within you know, you probably have to go to 5 or 10 of them, but, you know, all within walking distance. But like I said, the quickest cash is yard cleanup. You know, if you see someone who just has a garden that's overran with weeds, or someone that needs grass cut, you know. Now, I want to, as far as the yard cleanup, you can actually start a landscaping business on credit. Okay, I've seen many people do it. If you have good credit, you go up to Lowe's or Home Depot, you get a credit card, you buy everything you need, and then you go and you start a business, and that's how. And then you pay off the credit card a little bit at a time. So, all right. So that's kind of all the jobs that you can get without having a car, or you're little hustling. Let's say you don't have a house, you have no place to live, nothing. You know, and you really need to start over. Well, Uber's going to be your best friend temporarily. But the biggest thing I could say for that is, if you can get on with a merchant marine or a cruise ship or something like that, they cover all the food, they cover all the housing. I mean, if you can get a job on a cruise ship, and it doesn't matter if you're the dishwasher, the janitor, if you're the one that's, you know, scraping barnacles off the side, it doesn't matter. You get decent pay, you get a place to stay, and you get food. Okay, so anything at sea for someone who really wants to start over, you get on the water, pretty much everything's paid for. Any boat you get on that you're on for more than 5-6 days, you get free housing, free food. Well, maybe not free food, but most of the time the food and all that's covered. Some other ways to get, you know, free housing is if you get involved with an auctioneer or a liquidator. There's a lot of big companies like, you know, Targets, Winn-Dixie's, Walmart's. When they close down, they hire a company to come in and clean out the building and sell all the stuff. And I've seen many people that their job, and it's a shit job. It's not, you know, it's not nice suits and everything else, but, you know, you go there, they cover your hotel or motel, you know, they give you usually a little bit of leeway for food, so they'll give you an allowance for food. The pay's decent. I mean, it's not high end, but again, if you're starting over, if you're in a situation, you know, it's a place where you can get some housing that's, you know, covered. You're going to be, you know, pulling scrap metal out of buildings. You're going to be dealing with, you know, old kitchens full of grease. So, you know, it's not a... I've seen a lot of women working there, so it's, you know, it's a job that anybody can do, but the women that work there are not elegant, you know. But they're making their money, and they got out of whatever situation they was in before. Apartment maintenance, if you can be a, you know, if you can get onto a particular apartment or retired facility and become a maintenance guy to where you just go and fix things. Of course, knowledge of knowing how to fix things helps, but usually you get you know, a discounted or a free place to stay as a maintenance person. If you can get any kind of night job to where you're working at night, during the day you can usually hang out at a storage unit. You know, let's say you rent a storage unit for $50, $60, $100 a month. Some of them are air conditioned. You can go there and hang out, you know, in a storage unit, which I've seen a lot of people do if you have like a night job. And you could also do security at an apartment complex, but I don't think they cover housing in that. So, and then the other thing is national construction companies. You know, before we talked about the smaller construction companies that are local, but when you have a national construction company to where you're being, you know, where they say, okay, this week you're working in Florida, next week you're working in California. They usually cover all the housing and everything else too. They'll usually have like they'll rent a building and everybody, it's kind of like military. You'll have this big building with a bunch of cots, or they'll put you up in some weekly or, you know, the weekly or monthly motel, hotel places. So, and then the last one, which I do think you need some knowledge on. I don't know the whole hiring process. I didn't get that far into my investigation. But working on an oil rig, again, out at sea, but working on anything that puts you where you're not on land anymore, you get housing, you get food. So, that being said, we got jobs without a car. You got a bunch of jobs where if you don't have a home, at least it gets you there. Now, that don't mean you get a home the next day. That don't mean you get a job the next day. But them are things you can look at toward getting, you know, money in your pocket, a place to stay, kind of a do-over, start-over. Now, let's say you don't have your house, but you do have your van. You're established. You got a place where you can squat for a little bit. The biggest things you can do in a van to make cash is buying and selling. Okay, hit garage sales, buy storage units, buy clearance items, sell it online, sell it at flea markets. Hell, if you can get sometimes you can get permits, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, but you can literally sell stuff on the side of the road. Assuming you have a cell phone, you can sell on almost any app. You can sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. I mean, there's so many different, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. All you need is a phone nowadays. You know, it's so simple to sell stuff. But it's you know, there's a little back and forth on that. You know, selling online is a pain in the ass. Selling on Marketplace is a pain in the ass. But if you got a van, you got a little place for storage, assuming you get a little storage unit too, now you can start up a business. So, and I'm going to talk about later on in another video, but when you're, to be self-employed, what the hell? Yeah, I thought that lady almost hit that dude. But I guess they're picking up, sorry. But I'm going to talk more about how to start your own business once you kind of reestablish yourself. But like I said, you know, all you need to start a business is a local license and insurance. Local license, at least here in Florida, $250 on SunBiz. You can start up your own corporation. Insurance, you're looking at, depending, you know, if you're going to other people's place or stuff like that, anywhere $125 to $600 a year. So not horrible, not necessarily cheap, but not horrible. But yeah, big thing is there's a lot of opportunity. You don't need to off yourself. You don't need to sell drugs. You don't need to be a criminal. There is so much money if you just go up and talk to someone and say, listen, here's my situation. I don't want to be taken advantage of, but I want to work for what I get. I don't want you to give me stuff either, you know. At least that's my personal thing is I've had people, I actually had a guy offer me $100,000, no strings, and I didn't feel comfortable taking it. I wish I did, you know, but yeah, it was a long time ago, back when I was starting off my business. He was a multi-millionaire, you know, but people will give you opportunity if you're real with them, if you're just up, you know, you tell people the truth, say, hey, here's my situation, this is what I'm trying to do, you know, and there are people that will help you out. There's people that are so unhappy with their own lives that they will pay money to be part of your story just to say something good that they did, you know, to help you out. So, but don't underestimate the power of a van. Don't underestimate, you know, having a paintbrush and just walking around, or, you know, saying, hey, I'll clean your yard. You will be surprised how much money you can make. In fact, that's pretty much this, but I'm going to tell you one more story. Whenever I got out of military, I was working with the guy, and I was basically like a helper. He came and picked me up at my mom's house because I was staying with her at the time, and we went off and did little mini construction jobs, just like I was talking about before. While doing that, you know, I was taking all the old windows and scrapping them, take the glass out and scrapping them for extra cash. And I was working at night at a local grocery store as a stock boy overnight. So I was working all day, all night, and in between as well. There was another guy in the neighborhood that I talked to every so often, and he would go around, and all he did was clean the windows of people's home, and he did it for $5 a window. You know, and he'd go, and this is a long time ago, so $5 a window was about the going rate. But he'd go, and all he did was he had a bucket, and he'd walk around and say, okay, I'll clean the outside, you know, for this much, or I'll do inside and outside if the window areas are clean. If they're not, you know, he had to get access to the window. So, and that's what he did. And the last I heard, he grew his window cleaning business to where he had a multitude of different employees, was doing commercial windows, and then he did one high-rise, which he hired a crew and, you know, everything, but he was doing like I don't know if it was one of the big high-rise, but he did a high-rise building, and that one building paid his house off in 3 years. You know, I mean, it just, but there's so many ways you can make money that, you know, and I've had money and I've lost money, and I've done some really stupid things with my life, and that's kind of what this channel is about, is to stop doing stupid stuff and make myself accountable for some of the decisions I've made. But, you know, the potential is there. All you got to do is reach out and just grab it. So anything you want to do in life, you really can do it. In fact, I tell people all the time, I was like, there is not another country in this world to where a poor little black boy can turn into a rich white woman. I mean, only in America. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Michael Jackson. So, but it's unbelievable that the opportunities that, you know, we have here, and even with the craziness of the world, we still have that opportunity. It may be a little bit more finesse to get around some of the, you know, well, I won't say get around, but to accept some of the regulations that they put on, because anyways, that's a different story. That's not what this video is about. So, but yeah, just no matter what happens in life, you don't have to be a criminal. You don't have to end it. You don't have to. There's always a second chance. Every great person I've ever seen has a story of where they started off in a bad way. And on that, peace, love, money, I'm out.